Kia ora koutou katoa. To introduce ourselves, my name's Ian Hyslop. I'm a long-time social worker and social work teacher working at the University of Auckland, and I look after the Masters of Social Work Professional program, which is a joy and a challenge, and something that I get up for every day. I love seeing students learning things. I like the way that social work is involved with challenges and changes and supporting people, and it's a special career.
Kia ora, ko Kendra tōku ingoa, he uri no te uri o Uinuku kōpako, te whakatohia ngai tūhoi me Ngāti Porou, no kawirau ahau, engari e noho ana au ki Tamaki Makaurau, I tēnei wā. So kia ora, I'm Kendra. I'm a teacher on the Master of Social Work Professional program.
So the Master of Social Work Professional is a 2-year applied degree that gives you a qualification in social work. It looks at social work practice, social work theories, social change, ideas related to what social work is, what you can do with it, and how it's related to social justice, social structure, social equality, with a particular focus on Aotearoa New Zealand, our society, the challenges that sit beneath the surface of that society, and how people can be agents of change in that system. It also looks at wider questions of social justice that impact across the globe. It's a fascinating and challenging course of study.
Thinking about who the Master of Social Work Professional might appeal to, I guess people that have a passion for change in their communities, people who can see kind of social problems and are thinking about ways that you can impact that positively, whether that's at an individual level, working directly with people in their whānau, whether that's at a systems level, like the services and policy and legislation that impact on people's lives, and whether that's at the wider kind of structural level as well, looking at how can we, change our social structures, our political structures, our economic structures that impact on people's lives every day. I think this degree will appeal to them because we're really looking at that kind of individual as well as that systems and structural level for change and impacting people's lives in a positive way.
Well, it's a 2-year degree. It's a taught program, so it's quite an intensive process of study, but you're supported and looked after and nurtured through that process as students. It's got a practical component, so you in the second semester you go out and do a placement in a social work agency for 3 months, get an experience of doing the work, and then you do that again in the second year of study. It's 3 days a week. It's a longer period of time. However, you're also supported and nurtured and supervised through that. The second placement is more likely in a statutory agency, like a government agency or a more formal social work setting, and you're supported and engaged with through that process. Social work's about social change, and it's about challenging systems of oppression. It's about the challenge that goes with that and the fulfillment that you get out of that work, because you are involved in changing unjust structures and altering the circumstances of people's lives by working with them in their particular situations in ways that are supportive and challenging and focused on change, changing the negative things that impact on people's life chances and opportunities. You're working towards a more equal society. It's a very special job. I've done it for 40 years. I love it.
So at the end of the 2-year Master of Social Work Professional, you are then qualified to become a newly registered social worker. So when you are going through the Master's program, you're learning all the kind of skills and competencies that you'll need to go out into practice after the 2-year mark. And that kind of enables you to spend a year as a provisionally registered social worker, and then once you've been in practice for a year, then you can go on to be fully registered. So you can work as a social worker in lots of different sort of settings. You can work in statutory settings like in the health system or in childcare and protection. You can work in non-government organisations. whether that's iwi, hapori Māori and Pacifica organisations, working with people with disabilities, working with whānau. There's lots of different paths that you can take.
You can work in Australia, you can work in the UK, you can work, Canada's slightly different, but you can work in Canada as well. So all the sort of English speaking Anglophone societies, I guess, you can work there with a New Zealand qualification. So it's good for travel. Yeah. People, it's a challenging profession, but it's an incredibly rewarding profession. You make a difference in people's lives, and you also challenge oppression. You challenge unfairness in the world, and you find ways of doing that through your work. So it's a very special job, and you learn so much about yourself in that process. You learn so many skills that it's really rewarding. You grow as a human being, yeah, I fell in love with social work 40 years ago, and I'm still learning every day. You're never confident that you know everything or you've got everything right, but you're there in the service of other people. That's the point of the profession. You're not there for yourself, and that's both challenging, but also very, very rewarding when you see people rise from oppressed or difficult situations and live decent lives, and you've been part of that process, and it's something incredibly special, and that's your reward. You make change at different levels, with individuals, with communities, with systems. You're involved in processes of social change. You're involved in making the world a better place. It's not always easy, but it's incredibly rewarding.
So if you are, interested in making this kind of positive change with individuals, communities, systems and social structures, that impact people's lives, then come join us, Nau mai haere mai. We'd love to hear from, those of you who have a background in Māori studies, Pacific studies, people who are from different kind of cultural communities and who already come with that amazing kind of mātauranga, the knowledge and experiences from different backgrounds in Aotearoa. What we need is social workers from diverse backgrounds and have had different kinds of life experiences, because you bring a different flavour, that we need in Tamaki Makaurau in Auckland in our social work kind of services. So come, we're really looking to hear from you. Kia ora.